Upper Michigan's source. This is your TV6 Sports.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Jerry Tudor in for Kevin McNulty. We'll check in on him in just a few minutes. We had some beautiful weather for baseball and softball today, and we head down to Dickinson County. The Escanaba Eskimos taking on the Kingsford Flivers this beautiful afternoon. In the bottom of the first, we'll see a runner on for Gavin Trevelyan, and he hits one out to deep left field, and that will bring home Anders Finley for the score. That would make it 1-0 for Kingsford. Later on, Gavin Grondin at the plate with a runner on, and he pushes that one out to right, and that will plate Joey Weber, making the Flivers lead 2-0. And he is safe and third there. Now here's a sac fly from Garrett Brown. That would bring home another run for the Flivers, but then the Eskimos would turn it on, and still in the game here. Lefty Max LeDuc drives that one out, bringing home Cannon Arndt for the score. And then just a few batters later for the Eskimos, Bryce Bichler sends that one out to the outfield, and LeDuc tries to sneak home but is called out. Now Esky would keep it close though, but Gavin Trevelyan would be the hero in this game. He ends it with a walk-off base hit in the bottom of the seventh to win it for Kingsford. Final score, Kingsford 4, Escanaba 3. Some more baseball scores from tonight. Gladstone Braves taking down Manistee 15-3. Isaac Ketchum with four RBIs in that game. The Norway Knights breeze past North Dickinson 11-0. Cole and Owen By combining to throw a one-hitter. Now, at the same time as that game was going on, Negaunee Miners softball team also in Kingsford taking on the Flivers. And we're going to pick this action up in the seventh inning. Flivers out in front 2-0. When Elise Robar sends that one on a ride out to left, and it's gone. Solo shot to put the Miners on the board. Just a little later, Brielle Anderson batting. She drives one out to left, and that's going to plate Teresa Anderson, and that ties the game up at 2-2. Miners not done yet. Ansley Burnett laying down the bunt. The throw to first, too high, and Brielle Anderson is able to score for Negaunee. Now in the lead, 3-2. And they would add to that here. Delaney Gladwell with a knock out to center, and Ainsley Burnett will score for Negaunee. That would be your final in this one as well. Negaunee with the win on the road, 4-2. And some additional softball scores as well. Marquette blanks Superior Central 10-0. Charlie Swajinen pitches a one-hitter, racking up 10 strikeouts. Norway blanks Kearney Nadeau. Emma Doobie with a grand slam home run in the game, and the North Dickinson Nordics with a big win over Stevenson, 23-3. Ella Rossi and Delaney Steinbrecher each driving in 5 runs tonight. Now, as you may have heard, the 2025 NFL Draft gets underway tomorrow in Green Bay. TV6 Sports Director Kevin McNulty has the latest from outside Lambeau Field.
In less than 24 hours, Titletown will officially be Draft Town. The stage is quite literally set, ready to usher in the next generation of NFL talent. In the first round of their hometown draft, the Packers will select 23rd overall, and the Lions own the 28th pick tomorrow night. While this year's class may be devoid of the heavy star power we're accustomed to, there are still plenty of good options to improve your favorite team. Draft analyst Joel Klatt had an interesting analogy for it.
So when I was in middle school, the biggest thing was starter jackets. Yep. I remember the pullover starter jackets, like what logo do you have on your back? Well, this draft is a starter jacket draft. There's maybe not the stars that really drive, the huge top of the draft momentum, but there's a ton of depth as far as guys that can go in and start right away, make rosters better. The Packers are in a pretty good spot. I think that their roster is decent and it's sound, and there's not a ton of needs for the Packers right away. I personally love giving a young quarterback more weapons. I could see them going that direction.
Your gut feeling, Packers picking at 23, where do they go?
Yeah, I wonder if it's one of these guys out here. They've spent a lot of time with Tedero McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona, in this pre-draft process. He was just telling us that he thinks he'd fit in any offense, but specifically the Packers. Maybe he's just saying that. But I have a feeling they're going to go defensive line, whether that's an edge rusher or an interior defensive lineman.
If I was fortunate enough to come over here, whether they trade up or if I drop to them, it's a blessing, and it shows that, they believe in the person I am and the talents I have on the field. And, it's a huge blessing. And like I said, if I'm fortunate enough to come over here, I know that I'm going to be in good hands for sure. Whether my toes freeze, whether I got jammed fingers, whether I got a migraine, at the end of the day, I'm going to have to go out there and perform. So cold weather, warm weather, rain, wind, snow, it don't matter.
Where do you think the Lions' priorities are at 28?
They've done a lot of work on interior offensive line. You know, I think if Booker were to get there from Alabama, they'd run the card up. Donovan Jackson's another one. I think makes a lot of sense for them. But they've done a lot of nice work in that organization, building up the lines, and they went out and got the skill and plugged in the skill. And it feels like now it's kind of a full circle, like, okay, it's time to reinvest here at the line of scrimmage.
Feels like there's less pressure on Brett Holmes to hit a home run in the first round now based on what they've done the past few years.
Brad Holmes needs to do whatever he's doing. Wake up, eat the same meal you've had before all these other drafts, and just don't change anything, because what he's been doing has been working.
Well, by tomorrow night, we will know who both teams go with in the first round. Then rounds 2 and 3 follow on Friday night, and rounds 4 through 7 on Saturday. Reporting in Green Bay, Kevin McNulty, TV6 Sports.
Thank you, Kevin. Finally, the Detroit Tigers took 2 of 3 in their series with the Padres today, winning the rubber match 6-0. And that's all for sports. Vinny is back with a final story right after.